Medicines or drugs or tablets, cough syrups or pills have become a part of our everyday lives. Have you ever thought about what would have happened if medicines were never discovered? Scary to think, right? Because how else we would survive without treating different illnesses or diseases? Things were very different before 1800 as to how humans used to treat and prevent diseases. We can say that the first pharmaceutical medication was produced in 1804 by Frederick Sertner, a German scientist. The global pharma industry is one of the most research-intensive industries for several decades, perhaps for more than a century. Indian companies, by contrast, have been known to be efficient manufacturers of pharmaceuticals. However, were often accused of not focusing on research, particularly in their early stages. Today, we will look at an Indian company which started with a focus on R&D. While many of the Indian companies were often in conflict with the larger Western countries, this company has been one of the strong partners of these companies which develop new drug molecules. Hello everyone, welcome back to India Business Insights. In this video, we're going to talk about one such organization, which is Divis Laboratories Limited. Divis Laboratories was founded in 1990 by Dr. Murli Krishnan Prasad Divi as Divi's Research Center. It grew and concentrated on inventing novel processes for the manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs, and intermediates, as well as delivering comprehensive turnkey solutions and advising to the local pharmaceutical sector. No manufacturing was undertaken in initial years. After a couple of years, Divi's Research Center changed its name to Divis Laboratories Limited in 1994 to signal its intent to enter the API and intermediates manufacturing industry. By 1995, though, the company had a 71-acre manufacturing facility in Hyderabad. This facility was staffed with some of the same chemists whom Murli Devi had personally trained and worked with in Cheminor. It was time for the next big step, convincing international pharma giants to outsource their work to Divi Labs. Profits from a drug are a function of two key elements: residual patent period post-commercial launch of drug and the costs involved around such launch. Thus, for new drug developers, there are essentially two ways to make money: shorten the timeline for commercial launch to earn profits for a longer time during the patent protection regime, and lower the cost of new drug development so that the profits earned during the patent period are justifiably high. Since shortening the timeline for commercial launch is dependent on regulatory bodies and hence cannot be controlled, big pharma companies have looked at outsourcing the drug discovery and development process to reduce costs. This gave rise to contract manufacturing over the last few decades. However, India during 1990s was not a preferred destination for Western pharma companies to outsource production, as Indian generics manufacturers were aggressively trying to enter the developed markets by challenging the patents of innovators, raising the issue of IP protection on new drugs. This is where Murli Divi has built a competitive edge for Divi Labs. Having seen the reluctance of Western pharma companies to give their IP to manufacturers in developing countries, Divi's positioned itself as a 100% IP compliant and non-competing service provider. Further, the company has been able to build a stellar regulatory compliance track record where it has had only one instance of adverse outcome in its FDA inspection in its entire history. This track record becomes critical as the clients cannot afford to lose out on their sales due to compliance challenges at vendors' end, which can take months to resolve. Further, switching of vendors is a very lengthy process in pharma industry. From the very beginning, Murli Divi was adamant that he would not enter the formulations play, even though most of the Indian pharmaceutical industry had taken that route through reverse engineering. The research team began with Naproxen, the ingredient in a popular anti-inflammatory drug. It was a crowded market and Divis was the 22nd firm to enter it, behind giants such as Swiss healthcare company Roche and chemical and biotech firm Lonza Group. But Murli Divi had made some headway in developing an efficient process to manufacture the compound and saw opportunity there. Murli turned to newer, greener technologies that used enzymes instead of chemicals as catalysts and devised an efficient production process for Naproxen. Today, Divis Laboratories is one of the world's largest manufacturers of Naproxen. Over time, it also snatched away market share for the manufacture of APIs such as Dextromethorphan, a cough suppressant from Lonza, and erstwhile pharmaceutical arm of Dutch material and life science company DSM. The company went public with its initial public offering in 2003. In 2007, the Pharma company set up a Nutraceuticals facility at its manufacturing unit 2 near Vishakhapatnam. After a few years, the organization opened a research center in Hyderabad in 2010. Today, Divis is an Indian global pharmaceuticals company manufacturing and supplying active pharmaceutical ingredients, intermediates, and nutraceuticals. DVL is a prominent manufacturer and supplier of high-quality APIs and intermediates for global innovator companies. It has established itself as a reliable partner to several of the world's leading pharma companies, including 12 of the top 20 big pharma. With a presence in over 100 countries, its generic APIs division has been instrumental in the overall success and positioned it as the world's largest API manufacturer in 10 of the 30 generic APIs it manufactures. Its product portfolio includes a diverse range of APIs used in the manufacture of drugs for therapeutic areas such as cardiovascular, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, and central nervous system drugs. One of the reasons why the company is on such solid ground today is because it deliberately chose a different business model at a time when most of the Indian pharmaceutical industry was seeking its fortune in challenging patents and selling generics in regulated markets. Murli Divi decided very early on in the game that his firm would stick to contract manufacturing of raw material for drugs. Divis recently reached the milestone of being one among the top 3 API manufacturers in the world and one among the top API companies in Hyderabad. Divis Laboratories is India's 4th largest publicly listed pharmaceutical company by market capitalization. Now let's talk about business segments. Its business mostly engages in export markets and features a diverse product portfolio across 3 distinct business segments: generic APIs, custom synthesis, and nutraceuticals. Generic APIs, recognized as one of the world's largest API producers, Divis delivers a select selection of 30 generic APIs commercially manufactured in the tens to hundreds/thousands of metric tons per year. Divis has always believed in doing more with less, which has set it apart from its competitors because it only makes 30 APIs, whereas its competitors often provide a wide bouquet of products. The company's API manufacturing is backward integrated. In generics, it enjoys significant market share in products like Naproxen, Dextromethorphan, and Gabapentin, among others. Custom synthesis. Its custom synthesis segment offers contract manufacturing services of APIs and intermediates for global innovator companies across a vast portfolio of products in diverse therapeutic areas. Divis mainly offers Phase 2, Phase 3, and commercial launch supplies. It is a global partner trusted by leading pharmaceutical companies in over 100 countries, including 12 out of the top 20 big pharma. Nutraceuticals. In layman's terms, nutraceuticals are food products or supplements that are believed to provide health benefits beyond basic nutrition. Divis have a nutraceutical facility at its Unit 2nd manufacturing site, which is an integrated facility for the production of active ingredients and finished forms of carotenoids. It supplies most of the carotenoids to all the major food dietary supplement, and feed manufacturers around the world. Divi's Laboratories' nutraceutical product line includes a complete spectrum of carotenoids such as beta-carotene, astaxanthin, lycopene, and canthaxanthin, as well as additional completed forms such as lutein and vitamins. These include A, D3, D2, E acetate, and A palmitate. The company has two subsidiaries, Messrs. Divis Laboratories USA Inc., located in the United States of America, and Messrs. Divis Laboratories Europe AG in Switzerland for marketing its nutraceutical products and to provide a greater reach to customers within these regions. Now let's talk about its manufacturing facilities. The company has world-class production facilities, one of which is the world's largest API manufacturing plant. Divis is headquartered in Hyderabad, India, and operates two manufacturing units equipped with state-of-the-art utilities, environment management, and safety systems. Furthermore, it is currently in the process of developing an additional site, which is scheduled to commence operations next year. With two manufacturing units and a third one under construction, it has enormous scales of production. Two manufacturing locations at which the company currently operates are Unit 1, located at a village in Yadadri Bhuvanagari district near Hyderabad, which comprises the first manufacturing facility of the company operating since the year 1995, and the DCSEZ unit operating from the year 2020. Unit 2, located at village Chippada, Bhimunipatnam Mandal, Vishakhapatnam district, Andhra Pradesh state, which comprises an export-oriented unit operating since 2003, an SEZ unit operating since 2006, DSN-SEZ unit operating since 2011, and the DCV-SEZ unit operating from the year 2020. The company also has research centers called as DRC at Sanath Nagar, Hyderabad, and process development and support centers PDSCs at the manufacturing sites. These centers are involved in development of processes for both new compounds and improvement of processes for compounds on the market. Divis has triple certifications: ISO 9001 Quality Systems, ISO 14001 Environment Management Systems, and ISO 45001 Occupational Health and Safety Systems for its manufacturing facilities, and adheres to CGMP and standard operating practices in its manufacturing/operating activities. A quick update on the Unit 3 project. With all the necessary clearances in place, it has secured 500 acres of land and started construction activities with an estimated capex of rupees 1,200 crore to rupees 1,500 crore for phase 1, with a further scope for expansion in future. This state-of-the-art facility will manufacture starting materials, advanced intermediates, and APIs that require complex chemistry, providing it with a competitive edge in the market. Since its establishment, the DLL's management has accorded high importance to research and development, as a result of which the company has a strong chemistry skill set, product development and process development capabilities for cost efficiency on the existing products. As on March 31, 2023, DLL has a total of 40 drug master files with US FDA, 26 DMFs with Health Canada, 26 CEPs, that is Certificate of Suitability, issued by EDQM authorities, and 7 DMFs with PDMA Japan. DLL has filed for a total of 41 patents for generic products. Now let's look at revenue segments. The company generated a revenue of rupees 75 billion in 2023, which is about 11% lower than the previous financial year. Top 5 products provide 46% of the company's revenue, while top 5 clients contribute to 41% of the company's revenue. While these have greatly lowered from the previous financial year, which was 60% and 54% respectively, it still represents a very high concentration risk, as the company is primarily engaged in export market The exports accounted for 88% of total sales revenue during the year. Exports in advanced cosmopolitan markets comprising Europe and America accounted for 70% of business. The rest of the world accounted for 4.6%, Asia for 13.8%, and India accounted for 11.6%. Care Ratings Limited has also reaffirmed the credit rating for the company as Care AA Plus Outlook, stable for long-term bank facilities, and AA Plus stable outlook, stable A plus for long/short-term bank facilities. Financials. Profit before tax for the year accounted to rupees 2,35,410 lakhs, which is significantly lower than the previous year. Profits after tax for the year amounted to rupees 1,80,815 lakhs as against rupees 2,94,854 lakhs during the previous year. This is due to significant change in the product mix. Net material consumption increased to about 40% from 34% in last fiscal year. Looking at the company's performance over the previous decade, we can see some positive trends in the margins. The poor performance in FY 2023 was led by following reasons. First is the contracting demand of Monopiravir, which is used in a COVID-related drug. During the FY 21 and FY 22, Divis had a great opportunity to quickly develop process, gear up, and mobilize its capital infrastructure, create capacities, and produce large volumes of Monopiravir for a global player named Merck, which contributed revenue of about 2,500 crore rupees to 3,000 crore, which in turn led to significant growth during FY 22. It is a great relief that the pandemic has since abated and people across the world are breathing normal activity. As a result, supplies of the product for COVID-19 have also substantially reduced during the current year. Another is the price erosion in the US generics business that has significantly impacted margins of generic players. Pricing pressure is the result of customers' consolidation, increased competition, and recent measures by the US government to lower drug prices for customers. Notwithstanding the dip in revenues and the profit margins, Divis has some of the highest profit margins in the industry. Divis EBITDA is 33.44%, although its peers' EBITDA margins range from 18% to 30%. Similarly, Divis has the highest net profit margin among its rivals at 23.47%. Let's look at the company's CSR activities. Since its inception, Divis has concentrated on various corporate social responsibility initiatives affecting the lives of thousands of people living in and around Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Its CSR initiatives include child empowerment, empowering women, rural development, preventive healthcare, safe drinking water, animal welfare, and raising the living standards of community members. During FY 2023, company supported more than 300 schools in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh through infrastructure development, conducted health checkups and eye checkup camps, benefiting thousands of people in 10 different villages, helped women gain skills, and become financially independent by providing training to succeed in various fields such as tailoring, bookbinding, embroidery, and beauty-related courses. Growth pillars of Divis. The company identified the following growth areas. First, being their generic API segment. Divis has acquired leadership position in some of their key generic APIs with 60 to 70% market share, while other APIs having 20 to 30%. So, their aim is to improve the capabilities of existing generic molecules in which they have a 20 to 30% market share, with the goal of reaching 60 to 70% in the next several years. Another is sartan APIs. Before Divis, the production of sartans has posed a challenge to several of its manufacturers. There were incidents where nitrosamines were found in certain drugs, produced by several manufacturers. N-nitrosodimethylamine (NDMA) is a nitrosamine impurity that poses considerable danger to health and safety even in small amounts. The US Food and Drug Administration has recalled many certain products throughout the years due to the presence of NDMA. The important part is that Divi's method of making sartans, intermediates, and the key starting materials, their entire building block, is in-house. The company's ability to control nitrosamine and azido impurity in the production of sartans API, a major US FDA concern, is another advantage for Divis. The global sartan market is around $20 to $25 billion, and Divis has continuously been expanding its sartan portfolio with an ambition of becoming a leader in sartan manufacturing. Now let's talk about the risks. However, the company does faces some risks. First is product concentration risk. As we discussed, 46% of the company's revenue comes from top 5 products. So this is a source of risk. Like if today any of the product faces the NDMA issue, then it may severely impact the sales of such product. Similarly, it has client concentration risk since its top 5 customers contribute to 41% of the total sales. Another risk faced by the company is that it is highly exposed to forex fluctuation risk, as major revenues of the company is derived from exports. However, DLL also imports around 45% of the raw material consumption, which provides a natural hedge to the tune of around 25% to 29% of the total foreign exchange earnings. Exposure to regulatory risk. The pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated and requires various approvals, licenses, registrations, and permissions for business activities. Given India's significant share in the US's generic market, the US FDA has increased its scrutiny of manufacturing facilities and other regulatory compliances of the Indian pharma companies supplying APIs and generic drugs to the US. Non-compliance may result in regulatory ban on products/facilities and may impact the company's future approvals from US FDA. During FY20, US FDA conducted 3 inspections of the manufacturing facilities at Unit 1 and Unit 2. In its latest inspection by US FDA, conducted from January 27, 2020 to January 31, 2020, the company has successfully completed the inspection without any observations and no Form 483 was issued. No inspections were carried out by the US FDA during FY22 and FY23. While this is a major risk for much of the pharmaceutical industry, Divis has an exceptional track record with compliance and quality inspections of US FDA. Future outlook. The Indian pharmaceutical industry is likely to reach $57 billion by FY25, with an estimated growth rate of 7 to 8% in FY24 to FY25. The bulk drug imports too have witnessed a steady CAGR of about 7%, reflecting the industry's growing reliance on these essential components. Moreover, supply chain issues in China have been a major catalyst for growth in Indian API manufacturers, as the West gets increasingly apprehensive about its dependence on China for APIs. The next natural preferred location of choice for API production is India. Divis, with more than 30 years of experience and being regarded as one of the top 3 API manufacturers in the world, would naturally emerge as preferred partner for global pharma majors, which bodes well from medium to long-term perspective. On the generics front, the management is looking at opportunity size of approximately $20 billion in molecules going off patent over FY23 to 25. Furthermore, Divis is amongst the few API players globally, that is outside China, who have undertaken backward integration of their major key starting materials. This helps them control costs and also provides assurance of continued supply. Due to this backward integration, coupled with continuous debottlenecking of plants, Divis is the global cost champion for many of its APIs such as Naproxen, Dextromethorphan, and levetiracetam. Given the backdrop of the shift in API manufacturing to India, Divis can win big. In custom synthesis, sales declined by 27% in FY23 due to reduction in Paxlovid related contracts. Although the segment witnessed revival during the past quarter, aided by two major contracts. It is also under the process of getting their peptide products qualified, which will start contributing from 2025 onwards. The global peptide